If the thought of molten chocolate cakes makes you weak in the knees, wait till you try these delicious Fudgy Brownie Sundaes. We're baking the sundaes themselves, the brownies, in ramekins, 6-ounce ramekins, very generously buttered with room temperature butter and a brush. Get those ready. And in the one bowl in which we're going to make this brownie, melt 1 stick of butter and 6 ounces of bittersweet chocolate. You can, as soon as the butter is melted, it's ready to remove from the hot water bath. Now, doesn't that look good? The chocolate melts so quickly that way, and it's very glossy with the butter. This is bittersweet chocolate.
Could you use other types of chocolate?
You could use milk chocolate if you want a milk chocolate brownie, but be careful with the milk chocolate. The lighter the chocolate, the quicker it burns.
Is that just because of the milk content?
It's because of the lack of chocolate content, actually. And this is 1.5 cups of sugar stirred right into the melted chocolate. This is a very, very, very delicious brownie, which you can use for a brownie recipe if you like, and bake it in a pan. So now we're going to add 3 large eggs and whisk those in one by one. It's similar to the blondie recipe that we just made.
So you have 2 grandkids, right?
I have 2 grandchildren,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you like baking with them, or do
They're
you
very
enjoy
good.
it?
They're very good in the kitchen. And they're very adept. They're very good at cracking eggs, separating eggs. I think all children should be allowed to come into the kitchen and work with mom. So see how nice and silky smooth this is becoming? And don't overbeat. You don't have to. Just incorporate until you can see that it's well mixed. Now we're going to sift the dry ingredients, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. And I always try to use the best Dutch processed cocoa. Do you know the difference?
No.
Well, cocoa is quite acidic, and the Dutch process uses an alkalizer to take away some of that acidity in the cocoa. And then stir that in, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And now the flour. 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons. And the reason that I'm sifting is I just don't want lumps, which will require more stirring than necessary. There, no lumps. And this is your batter, which will go right into those buttered ramekins. And use a 1/2 cup measure. This is an ice cream scoop. These come in so handy to get even amounts into a ramekin like this. And try not to mess up the edges of your ramekins, if possible. I'm just adding the last little bit so I don't waste any of this. Get these right into a 350-degree oven. Set your timer for 30 minutes. And now to serve with this lovely little brownie ramekin, we're going to make a salty caramel sauce. 1 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of water, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And bring that to an amber color, just over high heat. When you see the syrup caramelizing around the edges, take it off before it is too dark. See, it's a nice color right now. And immediately add 2 tablespoons of butter. This will help stop the cooking of the sugar. Do not touch. The worst burns come from caramel.
Absolutely.
You know that, right?
Yes.
It's just awful. And then 1/2 cup of heavy cream, just add it slowly. This is so, so hot. Do not use a rubber scraper. You don't want to melt the rubber into your caramel. Don't use a wooden spoon. You might splinter the spoon. So I always tend to use a metal spoon when I'm stirring this final stage of the caramel. Now this will thicken as it cools. If you want to speed up that process, you can immerse this whole thing into a little bowl of iced water. But I'm just going to let that sit. It's lovely color, lovely consistency, and that's our caramel. Very easy. So now we have our caramel nicely cooled. Add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Don't add the vanilla while the caramel is really, really hot because it just kind of kills the flavor. And always use really, really good vanilla.
quality
Oh,
ingredients.
isn't that beautiful? So you can spoon a little bit of this. About that much is enough. Top each brownie cake. Any caramel that you have left over, just store in a covered jar in your refrigerator and eat it with a spoon when you want something sweet. I never keep it in my refrigerator because that's exactly what I would do. So you're going to get a little layer of caramel before you get down into your brownie. This is rich, sinful, utterly delicious. And now a scoop of vanilla ice cream, if you so choose, right on top of the caramel. And how about a dollop of whipped cream? There. And that's chocolate brownie sundae numero uno. Even without the ice cream, this is a fantastic dessert. You and your friends will adore it. It's really good. Enjoy.